All right, man. So dealing with demons volume 2. This is obviously huge, man. I mean, look, obviously you guys dropped the video If Blood is Life. So it gives us a bit of a taste of what to expect, but in terms of the whole sound of this project, tell us a bit about what you've been working on and what the fans can expect.
Right. So we've dropped Through the Depths and If Blood is Life. Thing is getting 10 out of 10s right now across the world. It's pretty incredible. Volume one, when it came out in the middle of the pandemic in 2020. That thing reached number either 3 or 4 over the course of the year, right behind Lamb of God and Testament, which was amazing.
Yeah.
These records were supposed to come out back to back, which of course, with everything shutting down, that didn't happen. And there was some other variables as well. I think what you can expect is more volume one, but more visceral, more volatile, more poignant lyrics. This is definitely the ending to a double record. The double record is, both records are short, 36, 38 minutes respectively. They're meant to be listened to back. That's the way it was happening. They were supposed to come out a year apart. Obviously, that couldn't happen. I think what's being said to me now, and you never really know, right? It's the same thing if you're an artist and you paint a picture until someone comes in and goes, that's magnificent, right? You really don't know as an artist. But
Right.
the feedback that I'm getting, and actually was just said to me about 10 minutes ago on an interview, is like, if this is where DevilDriver is now with the sound, I want to hear the next 5 records because something's happening. And it is true. It is true. And there's multiple reasons for that, and I could go into them.
Let's hear it.
Well, DevilDriver's really not held to the fire like other metal bands. Okay,
Okay.
other metal bands, I think, have to remain Coca-Cola. They have to keep their brand the same. If they change it up, we've seen it. Oh, he laid clean vocals. I'm out of here. I'll never listen to this band
It's like
again.
new Coke.
There you go. And DevilDriver has never really been part of that. Look at volume one. We released a song called Wishing off that. That got huge fanfare. Obviously had clean vocals. I was raised on psychobilly, punk rock, and goth. That was my kind of alliteration to Bauhaus and to Sisters of Mercy. By all means, if another big metal band tried that, I think the career would be shot down, where ours went straight up because we're willing to take chances. And if you listen to DevilDriver, we're on our 10th record.
Yeah.
And none of the records sound the same. And I always say this as well: if you get 2-4 years in this business, 1 or 2 records, you should thank the stars. If you get more than 5, 6, 7 years in this business, 4 records, you should get on your knees till they bleed. Thank the universe, right?
So
I've been
rare.
around 30 years with my previous band, Cold Chamber, on my 16th record. I think it's because I've never played the game. Never.
Wow.
Cold Chamber was very different from all the bands that came out during the time that it did. DevilDriver is very different from the metal bands that are out now. You can't put us really in any slot. And I saw it early on. We couldn't really define ourselves, and the fans started calling us groove metal. Then somebody coined the term the California Groove Machine.
Nice.
And I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm going with it. And now you see it all over the place, bands hashtagging groove metal, when it's like, no, you're not. You're a power metal band. No, you're not. You're a prog band. No, you're not. You sound exactly like Pantera.
Do you get sick of the categories? Because some people get, like, a lot of fans get really hung up on that,
No, man. I saw it with the new metal category, and I've never run from it. I've always been like, well, if the fans call you this, then this is what you are. And when they started calling us groove metal, I was like, look, we need to embrace it. This is a hashtag coming from the people that listen to our music. We started to embrace it. We started to promote it. And then we saw now other bands jumping on and using that hashtag, which is, for me, it's ours.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's other bands that do groove. I mean, for sure. You can go to Spotify and see a groove playlist, and they're pretty spot on with that.
Right.
But that hashtag and that those words were not really used in the scene prior to what we were doing. So yeah, I'm pleased that we don't fit in, and B, we do our own thing, and we're not held to the fire like other brands are. And yeah, that makes me appreciative. And as an artist, like, I have gratitude for that,
No, 100%. And I mean, you mentioned Cold Chamber and, how there was a lot of similarities with, both bands in the way that you operate. I wonder what's the biggest difference now between DevilDriver and Cold Chamber that you found, like wearing those two different hats?
Musically, it's a complete different monster.
Of
I
course.
mean, look wise, musically, everything, it's a complete different
There's probably
monster.
more apart than there is, similar.
uh, they're not similar at all.
Yeah.
I sing completely different vocal styles. The music is completely different. The look, the everything, the attitude is completely. The only thing that's the same is both of my bands go out to kill. Both of my
Right.
bands are like, oh, you're going on before us? Good luck. Oh, you're going on after us? Have fun with that.
It's like
And
Kiss with
and
Blue
and
Oyster Cult, right? They blew him off the stage.
I mean, my whole thing is, and I've always been that way. And I mean, I have 110% tattooed on my knuckles. I've always been like, if you're going on after us, have a great time with that. Like, we're going to go at it. And, Cold Chamber is gearing up to go do Sick New World with System and Corn and all them. Very thankful that they invited us to do that. DevilDriver is getting ready to gear up and announce another second leg of a co-headline run with Cradle of Filth and DevilDriver through the United States. And we both bands go after it, and I think that impresses me from the musicians that I surround myself with, because I tend to, if you've ever seen me on stage or watched a YouTube, I tend to go for it. And
Yeah.
and I appreciate the singers that do go for it. I see the singers that lay back in the cut, and take it easy at a show. And like, if you're not sweating after the second song, something is totally wrong. Get
Yeah.
off the stage, bro. Unless you're Frank Sinatra, then you could chill.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but this isn't the crooner days, right? This is the metal days. What would you say about, in terms of touring, is the biggest mistake that bands make, do you think?
um, that's a unique question. Touring has become very difficult.
Hmm.
So the same bus that was 350, 400 a day is 750, 900 a day.
Wow.
The same driver that was 250 a day is 550, 600 a day. The same gas, fill up a tank for 800 in a bus. Now it's 1,600, $2,000 to fill it. It's going to be very difficult for bands. I think the mistake that a lot of bands do is in the beginning, they jump out too quick to headline.
Hmm.
Unless you have some massive buzz and a number one song and all this other shit. And then, even then, you should step out on a couple support tours
Yeah.
to try to gain some fans, to try to feel yourself out. Of course, put yourself up against other bands. I believe that's how you become a fighter, is bobbing and weaving. And how you do that is you go out, you support bands. I mean,
Hmm.
without the likes of, let's say, in the beginning of my career, without the likes of Ozfest or Pantera or Black Sabbath, Megadeth taking me out for the first time, I would have never had a career. So I think you need to go out, you need to step out, you need to support. And I tell, I have a huge roster, my management company of bands, and I tell them, if they're beginning bands, that's what I often tell them is, hey, let's get to the agents, let's capture support. And once you feel that you've got, you could draw 200, 300, 400, 500 people in a room, then let's step out. Otherwise, if you go too early, it's an obvious thing to the agents. Well, last time they stepped out, they only drew 25 people in Idaho on a Tuesday night. We're not going to
Right.
book it anymore.
It's
So
not the word we want to spread, right?
that's not the word we want to spread. So that would be my, that would be my take on, if you're new in a band. And then if you're new in a band, get it, do it with people that you love, do it because you love it. Don't get into anything for the money. And if you're getting into metal for the money, probably better to go to college,
That there's many things that can make a lot more money. I say the same thing about what I do. You know what I mean? I wouldn't recommend it for a get rich quick scheme. That's for sure.
don't
Uh,
don't do anything that you don't love, man, in life. Like, time is extremely precious, and you
yeah.
have to love the things that you do. I mean, I run 4 companies, major companies, and I'm up at 5 a.m. in my office every day. And even when I'm on tour, I'm up extremely early because I
Wow.
love it. I mean, I manage bands because I love it. I love what I do, and I have a lot to offer. I'm in bands because I love it. I have Sun Cult, a clothing company that's in 600 or 700 Zoomy stores and now going into Tilly's in all the malls, because it built up with it's a family business built up off of one shirt, and
Wow.
it's raging right now. And I enjoy like starting businesses, watching the start of things and watching it take off. And the reason is because I have passion and I love what I do. So yeah, don't do anything that you don't love to do, you know? Even if others tell you not to go that route,
Hmm.
if it's something you love and you're like, look, the bottom line is I love making pizza, go make pizza
Make a pizza.
until you can open up your own restaurant, you know?
What would you say is, in terms of managing bands, like the most challenging aspect of that? Because when you have to juggle a lot of bands, I can only imagine, especially now with all the changes in the business, the unforeseen things that can, come up.
Uh Challenges for me come from the inner fighting within the bands.
Right. Keeping everybody happy, so to speak.
Yeah. So those are the only challenges. When you have a unit that's tight, the band is getting along, the agent is firing off, the label is firing off, the management is firing off, you can accomplish miracles. But when the band is inner fighting, when they don't want to hang out with each other, when they're fighting late night or what have you, it's time to take a break and reassess your life. And
Yeah.
especially if you're a bigger band and you have fans and you have a record out there that people love, it's time to sit back, reassess yourself. And if you just can't get along, that's when it's time to part with members or part ways with the band. Because again,
Yeah.
time is short, life is short. Those are the things that try my patience. Is like I'm over here trying to make it. Fortunately, I don't really have a lot of that on my roster. But I
Right.
talk to other managers all day long, and it's like, oh my God, I want to kill this singer. You know, it's like, well, bro, you work for him. Like, have you thought about maybe getting the band together and having conversations? Like when I first started managing, I took on a pretty big band, and none of them were getting along. And what I actually did is I said, great, you're not getting along. So we're either all going to quit here, or I'm going to put you all on a mail. I put them all on a group mail, and I said, say whatever the fuck you want. Say
Wow.
whatever. Like if you're like,
Let it all out.
I don't like your fucking breath in the morning, say it.
Put it out
Right.
there.
And I watched after 4 weeks of emails back and forth. All of a sudden it was, oh man, I love you so much, bro. I'm so sorry for saying that, bro. And before you know it, they're all texting me going, man, thank you. And I'm like, hey, don't thank me. Thank yourselves that you could be honest
Yeah.
with yourselves, and realize that you're in a great position, that most people would kill to be in the position that you're in. And
Yeah.
so don't take your life for granted. Do what you want with passion. Don't take your life for granted. Those are the only real challenges for me. Otherwise, I got to say, I'm in the office 5 hours before most managers. So most guys are in at 10, 11 o'clock. They're
Yeah.
out on Wednesdays on their boat, not available on Saturdays. Like I don't run my shit like that. I'm in at 5 a.m. I cut off at 11, 12 o'clock at night. I mean, I have ADD and ADHD on my side, which is a superpower. I only sleep 4 or 5 hours a night since I was young. So
Wow.
that really
It's a life
helps me.
hack.
Yeah, that really helps me a great deal, because when you're cracking your eyes open at 5 a.m. and you're on the phone at 5:15 and you've got a tour at 5:36 a.m. because it's 9 a.m. in New York,
Right.
you've beat out everybody. Or you stay up until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning because you're dealing with Europe. You get it all when everybody else is asleep in bed. I'm getting the tours for my band. I'm getting the routings. Dez, how did you get that tour bus for your band? It's like, because I reserved it 4 months early, dummy. So,
Exactly.
you
They're
know,
dreaming about it, 4 months later when you were putting the work in. You know what I
no.
mean? And
And
I'm a big
I also
proponent of
tend to
that.
really, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I also tend to really think forward. So, like for a lot of my bands, I'm already booking mid to late 2024 into 2025.
Wow.
Right. And so that's the
Wow.
way it really should be. So, like, if your manager isn't talking to you about, next year and the year after, call me.
Seriously. We'll put the number down below. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Uh,
actually, now is a good time to call me because we just took on another manager and two assistants here. So now would actually be a great time because we've passed on a lot of big bands, man.
yeah.
We're not ambulance chasers over here. I could have got out of the business a long time ago. Monetarily, I'm fine. So why do I do it? Because I love business. I love what I do. And now would be a good time to actually call, because we passed on a lot of bands in the last couple months, because I don't want to take time away from my roster that I love so much and the bands that have grown with us. You know what I mean? So we're
Yeah.
growing as a company as well. We had a couple other big management firms ask us to join in with them, which, you know, my first question is, cool, what time do you guys all get in the office? And it's like, oh, we all arrive around, you know, 10 o'clock. And I'm like, it's not going to work for me.
Yeah. Click.
It's not going to work for me. We can be friends, we can work together, but that's not going to work, you know.
Yeah. In terms of business, how did you actually start your first business? Like, you know, if somebody was to ask you, you know, maybe to compare it to your business model.
First business I ever started was when I was 18 years old, and I was a club promoter, and I actually opened a club. I mean, like, went into a building, gutted it, put lights up, you
Wow.
know, got licenses, got, you know, all of that. And I ran that company from the time I was 18 to the time I was 23. It actually became a multi-million-dollar company. And you know, how did I start it? I fall in love with what you want to do, and then the rest will come, and then learn everything about it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you can't be a doctor unless you know how blood flows.
Right.
So it's the same thing with any other business you want to do. I have a very good friend that's he's worth a lot of money. He runs two huge companies, and I said the same thing to him actually a couple of weeks ago in a phone call. What made you want to start your company? He's like, the passion. I had the passion for it, and that's what built my company. And so that's how I run my life, you know. And I don't do anything I don't like to do, certainly, at all.
Yeah, definitely. And it seems to always come back to that, you know, the passion. And I think a lot of people struggle to find their passion, but you know, yours is definitely visible and it's incredible. You know, real quick, just in current events in metal, you know, a lot of groups taking the stage and, you know, some controversy about some groups when it comes to this whole war about using tracks on stage. I'm just curious, as a manager and an artist, what are your thoughts on this sort of debate about, you know, vocal tracks, instrumental tracks? Does it take away from concerts, or does it ultimately help the live show experience?
Yeah. I mean, I can't even fucking reserve judgment for that, because I was raised on punk rock and psychobilly and goth, and like, that shit is not on tape. I mean, I get it if you're Katy Perry.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. If you're a metal band and you're using tracks, if it's like a small little, like a piece of something that nobody can do. So here's actually the example for DevilDriver. We do a cover song called "Sail" by AWOL Nation. Actually, I think our version is better. So, and I do it because it's blame it on my ADD, and I suffer from ADHD, ADD my whole life, right? But there's like a girl in the background doing this high part.
Mm,
Obviously, no one could do that on stage.
right.
So we'll run that to a track, and not all the time, mind you. But I think when you start tracking vocals, when you start tracking bass, when you start tracking guitar, when you're tracking drums, and you're a metal band or a punk band or a blues band, all these bands are supposed to be real bands, then we have a fucking serious problem.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like, I get it, right? Like, we're on a huge stadium tour, and the singer is sick tonight. He can't even sing, but there's 40,000 tickets sold. Okay. All right. Maybe you want to run something on track. I mean, to save the show, I get it,
Yeah.
or maybe there's a backup harmony that
Yeah.
nobody can do. Okay. I get it. But when you start running the main tracks of vocals, guitar, bass, drums, fuck off.
I couldn't have said it better myself,
I mean,
man.
I can't paint the picture any more than that.
No, I completely agree. You know, today we also saw the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame came out with their nominees that are going to be going in. A lot being made of the fact that they snubbed Iron Maiden. It seems like, you know, for the millionth time. Just curious if you had any thoughts on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or anything to do with that.
Uh, I don't know, man. I got awards and stuff. I never take those kind of accolades. Like, I mean, it is what it is. And you know, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, like, I mean, you have to pay. You're paying to enter.
Really? Wow.
They're
See,
not,
I
they're
didn't
not,
realize that.
yeah, they're not calling you going, come on in. Like, there's actually, from what I know,
Mhm.
there's actually you know, a considerable amount of money paid to make sure that can happen. Now, if I'm wrong, point it out in the comments. I'm cool, but this is what I've heard. I haven't been keeping up on any of that debate. However, Iron Maiden, hello, fucking legends.
Yeah.
I know Bruce's kid. I've met Bruce. I've got actually a photo with Bruce from Australia in my vocal booth. One of the greatest vocalists of all time.
100%.
You know, I'm not a guy who likes high vocals, right? But I can listen to Iron Maiden. But I've never been a guy that likes, like, you know, I'm not a power metal prog high voice guy. I'm a low voice guy. I like Danzig. I like Rob Zombie. I like Motorhead. I like, you know, if you got a low growly voice, I'm down.
Sign me up.
Right. Yeah. So I think, you know, of course, ignoring Iron Maiden is a fucking wrong call. I don't know who else has been inducted, or I heard something about Rage Against the Machine was coming in.
Yep,
Or
Missy Elliott's gonna be in there. There was a couple people, so it's definitely a
I
lot of
mean,
controversy.
Missy Elliott in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
It's
Huh.
bizarre to me. It doesn't make sense to me, you know, personally. I
Yeah.
think there
Great,
should be a
great,
hip hop
obviously,
Hall of
obviously
Fame.
great artist. I like all music. Obviously a great artist. What has she done in the last 20 years? And again, paint the picture wrong in the comments if I'm wrong. If her last record a year ago, you know, sold 30 million copies, I don't know. It's not my world. But I would have thought over Missy Elliott that Iron Maiden would surely be there, right?
Yeah, and they should have a you know, hip hop Hall of Fame, because it's not like that music isn't great, like you're saying. So you know, it should eventually have its own place. I feel like it sort of devalues both genres.
I mean, I can understand you bring Run DMC in. You know, they did. You know,
Yeah,
they did a song with fucking Kerry King. You know, who I happen to fucking love. He's one of the greatest guys I've ever fucking met. But I don't understand like not bringing Iron Maiden in. You know what I mean? You know, and
I
of course
completely
it's
agree.
accolade that's kind of a beautiful thing because it lasts after you. So like these guys that are older like this, like why don't we give it to them before they're dead? Why don't we give it to them before they quit? Like Iron Maiden still going strong. Like Bruce beat cancer. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, fucking, you know, incredible, right?
still kicking ass.
I actually found that out through a tweet, and this is why I deleted Twitter. Is
Really?
yes, because Bruce made a comment about people smoking weed in the venue.
Right.
And I came back and said, come on, man, it's fucking rock and roll, right? And everybody came after me. Man, you don't know, he beat throat cancer or beat cancer. Like, that's why he's saying it. And I went, oh, fuck. I actually felt like shit. I came back
Right.
and said, fuck, I'm sorry, man. You know what I mean? I get it. But why don't we give it to these cats before they take the fucking walk or before they take the fucking fall where they never get up again?
Yeah, before
Right.
there's a tribute, you know, we'll give him a tribute now, you know, like I completely agree with that, man.
Yeah. And
Listen,
then right, like, and then it's like this. Iron Maiden's not in. Like what? Like it gives guys like me, like, well, I'm never going. Like, what the fuck do you got to do to get in?
yeah, seriously. I mean, it's like,
Like,
yeah, exactly, man. It's insane.
you
Like,
know, or did they piss somebody off? Did they say something wrong to somebody? Who the fuck knows?
probably.
Or did they say, wait a minute, I got to give 25 grand if we get in, you know, or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
No, it's so
Um,
true. It
yeah,
makes you
and
start to scratch your head.
accolades can be tricky too, man. Accolades can be real tricky. So I kind of stay away from that. You know, I put my head down when it comes to what I do. I enjoy the art. I enjoy making it. I enjoy getting on stage. I do enjoy getting on a bus, but everything else, from the accolades to the late night parties to the drug, the alcohol, the women, all that, I fucking stay away from all of that shit. I enjoy the art side of it. So the accolade thing it's a difficult, weird thing. I mean, I have
Yeah.
awards from magazines and stuff, but like I don't have them personally. I'm like, give them to the drummer. Here, man, you want this for your house? Like it's
Take it home.
like you know, like here, like I mean, even Cold Chamber, our first Kerrang award, it's like I don't have it. It's like, and it's not that I don't disrespect it,
Yeah.
and I thank him for giving it to us back in the day or what have you, but I really don't need that kind of thing. And actually, if you look around my house, there's, you know, I just had a bunch of bands over at my house before the last tour.
Nice.
And other than upstairs in my office and uh, and actually 2 Pantera Gold records that were given to me by them, and 2 Coal
Wow.
Chamber Gold records. I don't surround myself with photos of myself on stage
Right.
and all
Like a lot
this
of
other
guys
shit.
do.
Bro, I've been in some singers' house, and it's like, how the fuck do you sit on your couch and relax, bro? Like yourself on stage is staring at you.
It's like
And so
mirrors everywhere, except it's just pictures.
yeah, and so I don't know, man. I'm a different kind of guy. I'm probably, if not the most private guy, I am probably the most private guy in this business. I mean, I just deleted my Twitter, and like, no doubt, no doubt, nobody at the label is happy with that. You know,
Yeah,
I've
man.
been asked
I
to
did
get
the
a
same the other day, actually. So it's funny.
yeah, and I've been asked to, like, get a TikTok. I'm like, what am I going to do, man? Like, I'm not going to dance on it. Well, maybe you could cook on it. Or man, like, man, that's what I do for my family. I'm Italian. I cook for my
Exactly.
family. I don't. So
Keep something for yourself, right?
yeah, and I get it. It's part of the career. You've got to be out there. I mean, I'm still on Instagram.
Yeah.
Probably not as much as I maybe should be. Now, a week before the record, I'm doing a hard push to anybody who's listening, right? But
I love
that's
it
my
though.
job. Other than that, I tend to really retreat away from what I do.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe why I've had a long career, almost 30 years in it. I've said
Yeah.
it before. If you got 2 years in it, be thankful. But I think because I am private, I'm a family guy. I keep my circle really small, and I try not to make shitty decisions. I think that's why I'm still around, and I'm grateful, man. Some guys wake up and the first thing they do is grab their phone and check fucking their email or whatever. I wake up and literally say to the universe, "Thank you for giving me a breath today."
Mm. That
Like,
appreciation, that gratitude.
and I think if you come from that point in your life, there's nothing you can't do, and there's nothing that the ether won't throw at you out of nowhere. You
Yeah.
know, like you're dead, you're thankful, you're dead broke, but you're thankful and you're grateful. All of a sudden, you look down, you find $100 bill underneath your
Right.
fucking.
Just like that.
I believe that. I believe that
Yeah.
wholeheartedly.
It's true, man. Well, listen, I really appreciate you dropping some knowledge here on the show. You're absolutely an inspiration, man. DevilDriver, the new record, Dealing with Demons, is out. Volume 2 on May 12th. And what else can we come to expect from DevilDriver, man? And where can we find you guys online?
Well, first of all, the thing comes out on May 12th, which is my birthday.
Hey, man, happy early birthday. That's
So
awesome.
it's gotta be good luck. And then, when you ask what's coming, it's like, you always talk about guys leaving bands, but you never talk about them coming back. And my original bass player, after being gone 12 years, that wrote all the first 4 or 5 records, I mean, he's a main critical writer, is now back with us.
It's awesome.
And he's not only a beast on stage and just a fucking wonderful guy, John Miller, but as a writer, he's insane. So the stuff that I think him and Mike are going to write for the next installment of what we do, and I'm going to try to get out a record no matter what, every 16 to 18 months moving forward. I'm going to just start dropping shit. If I had it my way, I would drop 6 songs once a year, but labels don't want to buy EPs. They want to buy records. I get it. Right. But that's only because when you die, they want all those extra songs to put on a motherfucking best of and capitalize on it.
And then the box set, and then the box set deluxe.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I've had that happen. So I think when you ask like what's coming, I think a lot is coming. I think we had a 3-year hiatus basically. And it was the longest time I've had off since 1993. And now I'm not only working 2 bands, but an autobiography that's getting ready to come out between June and August. That's done on Rare Bird Books. It's going to be a real revealing look into who I am. And people, I think, are going to see like, who I was as a kid and why I am who I am now. But I think I'm doing double duty and I'm working hard because I think there's a lot to come from DevilDriver. And just like that last journalist said, if this record, Dez, is a testament to what you're doing and where you're going, I want to hear the next 4 or 5 records. And I said to that dude, I actually said to him, he's a real large journalist. I actually said, I'll tell you what, when the first song is done off the next record, I'll play it for you first.
Nice. I love that, man. And listen, we're all really excited to hear it. Thank you so much, Dez. And yeah, I'd love to get in touch with somebody at your company as well, man, the management company. See if we could jump in on some press cycles or something. I'd love to help with some interviews, even for some of the smaller guys, man. So I really appreciate your time for sure.
Yeah, no worries, man. Anybody can hit us at info@theoraclemanagement.com. Big or small, we take a look at everything. I've got two great assistants here that are in touch with me constantly. We just hired another manager over here, so our team is growing, and we'd love to do that. So, and I'd love to get, some of these smaller managers. I mean, I just picked up this kid. He hit me up. He's like 20 years old, and he's like, I really want a chance to work with you. And so all I said was, why? Right. And everything that fucking came out of his mouth, he's like, you're dedicated, your perseverance, you're a workaholic, you're everything I want to be. I said, okay, I'm going to hire you. And we did, man. And this guy's been assisting over here for, I want to say, and he'll know who he is now. I said,
right. Shout out to our guy over here.
Yeah, shout out. Right. But he's been assisting now for about 2 months. And I mean, he's fucking kicking ass to where I'm like, bro, you could easily manage one of my smaller bands. Like, let's start talking about that. And he's like, oh, it's too early. I said, don't be afraid to jump in the water, man. How to swim. Let's go. So I'm in for giving people a try and all that. So yeah, just give us a contact out and we'll be there, and we'll get some people on your podcast, man. And good luck with everything you're doing, because millions of people are doing podcasts, and it's a difficult job. I've only done one of them for Bloodstock, and the guy that I spoke to was my fucking idol and hero, which is Rob Halford from Judas Priest.
The best.
And then after that one, I had a great time doing it. But after we were done, I actually said to my wife, "This is not for me, right? Like, it's not for." But
your plate's full, so you're good. I mean,
yeah. But I mean, I think you got to really love what you're doing. So, thanks for having me on the show, and I wish you all the best of luck for what you're doing.
Thank you, man.
Feel free to reach out anytime, man.
Awesome, Dez. We'll be in touch. Thank you for saying that, man. It means a lot.